All right, guys, welcome back to Foxhound Finance, where we analyze market trends, financial reports, market news, and hunt down potential investing opportunities in the stock market using technical analysis. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you guys do not miss an update from me on the market. And lastly, please remember this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. I am not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. Okay, guys, I'm going to jump right in. I got a lot to cover today. We're going to start off with the SPY broader market, obviously what went down today in the market. Obviously, there's a lot of pulling back today across the board, but I want you to try to understand this in the best way possible. I want to make sense of this entire move that's going on. First things first, you have the tariffs going on. We had the Zelensky interview that I mentioned in my previous video or two ago. There's a lot of commotion going on, okay? And usually these moves are happening, right, in line with the news. That's what's being portrayed to us, right? But realistically, I'm going to look at the charts, right? I'm going to look at everything and take everything with a grain of salt, right? And then come to a conclusion. So what I'm going to do first is go over to SPY. What I did here, you can see that when you get any kind of drastic move where you're ripping down through the EMA bands here, this is about a 10% drop move when I calculated it. So you went from 562 down to 506. It was a 10% drop. Okay, now you're at 506 here, this move before it reversed. I'm looking at this right now. If we get a similar pattern where we go 10% down, if the 100 breaks, because I mentioned previously for the SPY, you're going to test a 50. We broke through the 50 below it, right? I said then you're going to test 100. If you break below the 100, well, you're going to come near the 200. And you may break through the 200. It would be a pretty scary look because I've told you guys before, you break the 200 to the upside, it's great. But you break the 200, the downside, it looks a little ugly. But what it could do is come down to this level here if it's the same 10% drop. From this top of 613 down 10%, you would be at 552. You'd be at 552. So you'd have this come down. Potentially, it could happen fast, right? You can come down, wick right through the 200, and then you could reverse back off. Similar to this move. You didn't wick through the 200 here. The EMA positioning on the band is a little bit different, but nonetheless, they're still in an upward trend. So that could be the quick scare to make people think the market is done, and then it could just go on its final run. This could be the final dip, and then we could just take off from here. That's one theory I had, and I did this in the past with multiple dips. When the stock did this, or the SPY, I should say, did this, these 10% drops, you usually get these big rebounds, and for quite some times you just wave up, right? You just wave right back up, okay, and just kind of keep steadily moving up. So it looks like it's due for a kind of big pullback, but I'm not calling this like a supermarket crash, and all this other stuff that people are saying. I do think that this could be the final dip before this market's really starting to take off. So that's the SPY. That looks pretty good. AMC, let's go over AMC real quick. Again, we're in similar territory, right? Nothing's really changed on the daily. You had this big fat red candle come down. And I'm going to explain the fractal theory. Now, I told you guys yesterday, I believe in the video, I looked at the weekly. Looking at the weekly right here, I saw this pattern play here where we kind of curl action come down. But now you have the 3 red candles here. So again, doesn't have to match 100%. Like I was counting the candles here and they were like bar for bar matching. You have a red candle so far to start the weekly. This could definitely reverse. I guess there could be some news that could cause this to reverse up and become a huge green candle, but odds are I'm leaning that we're playing. I gave you an A and B scenario. I said if we're on the weekly, then we could be ripping up this week and getting some kind of candles like this. Doesn't have to be just a straight 2 candle move, but the upward action. So that was my weekly scenario for AMC, and then the daily. I looked over here, and holy crap, what did it do? Do this. So I wanted to look at the box over here, the fractal in May. Boom. So this for the first arch completing. If you take this top and measure the percentage, sort of like what I just did with SPY, it is a 20% drop here. 20% drop here. Why the hell are you not there? Right there. So 20% drop, that gives you 283. That's exactly about what the range of what this move was, 283. Right here was 283. So 20% drop there. Go over here. You measure from the top here. I said this like probably like 7, 8 videos ago. I had like 305 or 303 or something like that. But I was like, man, this green candle here looks good. Like it's ready to just go. So I was like, maybe the percentages don't really matter too much, in this sense. But if you take this, you go 378, you do a 20% pull, you come down to about 303. What the hell am I doing? My arrows are a little funky. But technically, we actually wicked the 303. What's this right here? You see the wick? 302-ish, 303-ish, right here. So technically, it fulfilled a 20% drop. Like, we should see this return up. Okay, if this is correct. If what I'm saying is correct. And we're just going to go ahead and play out the slower M, like the double arch move, right? Like this over here. If we're going to play this out, then fine. We're on the daily. We're going to play that out. Kind of lines up with the way the market's looking anyway. It looks like, all this news is coming out and, there's a lot of commotion and it's just causing like a sort of plateau. Like we're waiting to like just sort of like go through this motion right now, I guess. But if that's the case, then you're going to have some time to build this next structure in anyway. And that may give people some time to sort of position themselves. So that's the way I look at this. Some people get angry, they get upset, they're crying, they're like, oh my God, I fucking. But realistically, this is an opportunity for you because if this is like one of the final dips before we go on an extended sort of like bull run, I guess, maybe for the rest of the year potentially, then this could be an opportunity for that. That's how I'm looking at it. That's AMC, Rivian. Same situation, guys. Like Rivian's floating right here in that 11 to 12 buck range, we'll say. Doing the same thing. It's just chop trading on that level. And I told you we're trying to look for the higher low, which I thought was about this level here, the 1190. But it's technically somewhere right now in here is the, third higher low. Yes, third higher low is what we're looking for. And realistically, I like this because for me, I'm looking at that channel right here that I created. Holy shit, I had to go to the weekly. This channel right here, get the price action here. I showed you guys in one of the previous videos, and it's bouncing in and out of this channel. It's resting on top. It's pretty much gone out of it. So it's not like we crashed down into it again down here. It would be insane anyway. It'd be like what? I guess the lowest you could get would be like, what, $5 or something? If you were to crack through it, that'd be insane. If you got that and then traded it, no, that'd be ridiculous. So I like right now how it has broken this downward channel. It is out here trading side to side. It's doing its thing. It looks good. I don't really have any issues with it. Again, it's holding that 11-ish support zone. But if you so happen to get some kind of crazy justified move by the market, maybe coming down to that 550-ish level or 560 or whatever, the 200, maybe this touches the 950 one more time before going. Possible. Very close. I mean, it's not too far out. We have to see what happens tomorrow. The market just decides to rebound again. We've seen it happen where we have these like little scare tactics. But that's what I see for Rivian. It looks great. No issues for me there. That didn't really get affected really too much today. So there's really not too much. And I know we were talking about Unity. Here's a great example. You guys go look at my Nike and Unity video. This is what I was discussing. Again, similar thing. I have built this downward channel right here in this range because, again, I see this downward trending action. It is trading within this. It does poke out a couple times, but nonetheless, it is trading here. It pokes out down below and comes back into this. I told you guys I want to look at getting a position in this, but here's the thing. I said I think it's going to come back down to the bottom of this channel. Okay? I could be wrong, but nonetheless, you did get a pullback, right? We weren't buying up here, and we sure as hell weren't buying up at $28, right? And we sure as hell weren't buying here. So again, save a couple bucks, you're sitting at $23.70. And I do think that if the market decides to go in the trend of the downward, then fine, maybe you can test the channel before bouncing back up again. But this here is going to be one of those ones where I told you that this may be the loading zone that I'm looking for. Okay? There's going to be a couple ones where, like, if you get this wrong, let's say it just rips and blows up and starts to come, fine. You know what? I missed it. But I'm going to be strategic as possible. I don't want to be averaging up. I don't want to have to be loading shares up here if I don't have to, especially when this has actually continued to downtrend in this channel. So until we see it break this top and maybe start floating up here that's similar to Rivian, then fine. But right now, looks like you could get another touch down here, maybe a couple more touches. It just depends. Like maybe throughout the year, you know, I don't know, at some point, maybe it's the summer. Maybe this comes down now and then it curls up and then breaks out. It's very possible. And the 200 is trending down. So anyways, not going to spend too much time on this video overall for Unity. It looks good. I still like it as an option. I think it looks amazing, but it's a matter of like, how do you want to do it? How do you want to go about it? And we want to do it tactical. That's what I'm trying to do. So we went over AMC. We went over the SPY. We covered Rivian. What else, guys? Let's see. There's just some here that I think we're good. Like Nike. I think I discussed Nike. Last one I'll say is this. Same thing, downward channel. Nike poked out of its downward channel. It looks like it's trying to establish a range, but it's all going to depend about how this market moves. And, you know, if you do break down into the range, it's going to go back to this level, like I told you before in my Nike Unity video, that we could do a potential retest here from COVID, $56. At the market, if they want to paint it ugly and they want to give us this dip, I'm all for it. I will be personally getting Nike at 56 if they don't wick me down real quick and they send this thing. Oh shit. Go there. So, you know, if we get a move like this and we touch this level, I'm super loading up. That's just my opinion, not financial advice. You don't have to copy me, but I like that a lot if this decides to break down through this whole channel and touch one more time. If not, if it does come into the channel, you can at least look for a rebound around this level, $65. But I think this is sort of creeping towards this right now. That's Nike. I think we covered pretty much the majority of everything, guys. Everything to me at this point, like I said, is solely depending kind of like the overall broader market and how they want to move this thing. AMD, I'm going to discuss this one later, but AMD broke the 200 moving average over here on the weekly. Daily, this thing looks like it's going to get a drop down. And again, I like this one for the future. It is just distributing down right now. I do love this one for the future. So could you go, I mean, you're really close anyway, 93. You could do 81, maybe a level over here test. I mean, they're falling. Those EMA bands are like really falling down right now. So something to pay attention to. Everything for me though, guys, like I said, looks pretty solid. Nothing too out of the ordinary other than just, you know, we knew like with the market the way it was and previous videos in the SPY, it was looking like it was pretty bloody, but not like crashy. I think that's the difference. You know, a crash is going to be something that you just don't see coming, and it's going to be very fast and drastic. And this, to me, again, these look like pullbacks. You know, this looks like, you know, one final push down. Like, look at this. One final push down before we really start to go. That's my theory now, guys. That's what I have for you today. I'm cool, collected. I'm not really freaking out about any of this stuff right now at all, nor will I, because this is the market. This is what you sign up for. So, if you guys are new, make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. If you have any other tickers or anything that you'd like me to cover, like I said, on the weekends, I'm trying to open up the doors to potentially covering some other ones just to see where they're at. But I think we got a good handful right now that look pretty strong, despite whatever the market decides to do. So I appreciate you guys stopping by, and I will keep you updated throughout the week with another video tomorrow. So I will see you then. All right, guys.